Hi everyone, I'm Dean Ramsey, I'm Principal Analyst at TM Forum. I'm here at Mobile World Congress 2024. I'm joined by Sameer from AWS. Are you having a good week at the show?
I am, Dean. Thank you so much. It's, I think, my 12th MWC.
I think it's my 12th too.
Is it? Okay, all right.
It seems busier than ever.
It has been, especially since the first one I came to 3 years ago after COVID was really dry. But yeah, the show's been really interesting. For us, there's been a lot of experimentation on the AI front, especially on the GenAI front. There's been a lot of scaling announcements on cloudifying the networks themselves, and then transforming how telcos go to market on the cloud and with the cloud. So those are the three primary themes that I think we're saying. Just to recap: experimentation on GenAI, scaling of the networks, and then real monetization of the cloud through the telcos.
Great. So AI is obviously the big theme out there on the show floor. It's the big theme of our upcoming research report. When you're talking to operators, how are you seeing that journey towards implementing AI, be it machine learning or predictive classical AI or Gen AI? How are you seeing that journey panning out?
I'm glad you actually laid out all the continuum of AI, because Gen AI seems to have become this panacea word for everything. And so it's much more nuanced than that, as you know. So if I look at the single biggest ask from my customers in the telco domain, they are asking for two things, which is help me streamline my operations using AI and help me generate new revenue using AI. And if I had to add a third, actually, help me remake the consumer experience through AI. So cost side, revenue side, and just the NPS side of things. So we're working with virtually every operator on multiple GenAI focused experiments, but actually implementing real AI in the field, especially in the area of network operations. We're seeing a large interest and actual implementations taking place right now. And we can then start to monitor what the improvement is in both velocity and as well as cost savings. And we're capturing that data right now. And then on the consumer side, it is GenAI to the fore. With a lot of customer service improvements happening. And then finally, I guess we're starting to see AI pervade the network as well. We're showing a lot of RAN intelligence using AI here. And so, for example, with T-Mobile, their RAN optimization, we're showing that out on the floor today. So it's finally happening. In the network itself.
So as you said, AI has been around in our industry for a decade, maybe more. But the launch of ChatGPT 15, 16 months ago triggered this fixation with Gen AI. And it kind of it's brought the whole conversation to the fore. And I suppose over the last year, since we were here in Barcelona last year, there seems to have been quite a bit of progress. I'm hearing more pragmatism and practicality coming into those conversations from the operators. What are you hearing in terms of the challenges that they're facing when they think about their AI strategy more broadly?
So let me address the GenAI component first and what we're doing there. On GenAI, we view the GenAI as three layers. You really need the best performant infrastructure out there. And so we're addressing that with what we call Inferentia and Trainium, which is our homegrown chipset based on the ARM architecture. And we are helping telcos train models on their data and make a custom model for themselves to use at 40% of the cost of comparable instances. But we're also giving them choice with the latest NVIDIA instances, Intel instances, and so on. So that's the layer. And if you read the press, you'll hear a lot about supply chain constraints and so on. So on the cloud, it's available, and they're starting to use it in the cloud for GenAI. They've always been using it, of course, for what I call the more traditional AI. The second layer that we're really looking at is basically a platform as a service for GenAI, because our philosophy has always been about choice. And in this particular case, we are actually working with multiple large language model vendors and other types of models vendors to actually list them on a managed service we call Bedrock, where you can actually consume these models through an API. And you know that it is already safeguarded, it's already been vetted, it's the guardrails are in place, and we provide all the metrics around that. And then finally, we launched a lot of applications on top, one of them being Q, which is the ability to build an application very, very easily that utilizes all of the underlying infrastructure and the managed service, so that you can do things like Code Whisperer, which is basically code generation, code modification, code migration, very easily, chatbots, contact centers with our Amazon Connect approach. So we're seeing adoption at various different places across the telcos. Some are building their own LLMs.
Yes.
Right. Some are using advanced RAG techniques to basically customize the responses back. But what really excites me is there are now starting to be real use cases in the industry. I alluded to the RAN use case, but we're starting to see in the areas of RFP generation, where telcos have hundreds of RFPs they respond to every week. And you can now automate a vast degree of that by feeding it with a corpus of what's been successful in the past, what's been unsuccessful, and allow a human to make that judgment at the end of it. Then we're also starting to see GenAI being used in network operations, where you can query the network itself and say, give me potential failure points. And it'll actually give you that.
Yeah,
so you can
predictive analysis on the network.
And I could go on and on. This is a year of experimentation in the first half of the year, is my judgment, but we will see these go into production in the second half.
So a very multifaceted approach, as you'd expect. What's the next year? What does the next year hold for AWS? What's the strategy going forward?
The strategy has been and always will be the same. We listen intently to what our customers need. We build what they need rapidly, and then we put it out in the marketplace for them. We work backwards from the customer. More than 90% of what we build is what they've asked for, and we will continue to do that even in this area. Everything that I just described came out of that process. So we would rather listen to the experts, the telcos themselves, about what they need, and use our flexibility and our infrastructure to deliver what they need very quickly.
Great. Exciting times.
It has been, very much so. And never a dull moment in this industry.
Yeah. So hopefully if we have this conversation again this time next year, there'll be all kinds of exciting new news and use cases coming out, and telco customers able to give us some real insight into how their journey's evolving.
Dean, while I'd love to say we should wait for next year, I think we need to get together quicker because it's changing every week. There are new applications that we're generating and putting out in the field every week. So how about weekly?
Yeah.
If you can,
or at least at DTW in Copenhagen in June.
I look forward to it.
Great. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you, Dean.